We're joined today by Chris Gorog, Chair of the IEEE Digital Privacy Initiative. Chris, thank you for taking time to speak with us today. With the launch of the new web portal for the initiative, perhaps you can share some of your initial thoughts on the importance of digital privacy.
What's happening now in privacy, we see so many compromises of our records, security of companies that's been breached, releases of information. As a society, we're all becoming a little bit overwhelmed, desensitized in a way, but also I'm sure most of you a little bit frustrated that this needs to stop. We need to have a way to be able to protect ourselves in the virtual world. It can't be that forever that whatever data you create gets copied everywhere and anybody has access to. At some point, how do we manage that, and how does as a society is privacy addressed? And then oftentimes we understand how to make things private and secure, but we don't know what the requirements are for that. And in most cases, they're almost like polar opposites, where we have, is data required to be private, this piece of data, or public so everybody can use it? And we saw this in the pandemic where lots of health information, they wanted to be public so that we could look at what was happening in the trends over our population. But what does that do in trends for the individual? And really, the nature of privacy, we understand in a non-digital sense. We know how to close our doors at our house. We know that you can't go in somebody else's house, but they're kind of fuzzy now when the data from somebody else's house can become public for everybody to use. And defining now how that public and private settings, what rights do you have with information created that represents you, that might be your locations over time or your habits. The nature of what is yours versus what is just open for everybody to have doesn't affect you right away, but after 20 years of making content, if you don't own anything, you haven't been able to keep anything private, we're coming up to a point where people are starting to realize that we've just given all our data away. And that's, what does that do for us as, the owners of it, or are we the owners of it? All those questions are kind of, what needs to be asked, what needs to be answered.